YouTube, or good evening, good night, good afternoon, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whenever you're watching this video. As always, thank you for tuning in. Today's video is brought to you, sponsored by Gator Waders. Not really, but they really do need to sponsor me. I mean, if they start sending me some Gator Waders, got the cheetah print, bottom land, that would be sick. Maybe one day we'll get there. We'll get to the point where they'll sponsor us. But today, now, I know if you follow my YouTube or if you watched the video or seen already, we had I uploaded a previous video of part one on the P5 forward A-arm tabs, but I actually went ahead and took that video down. We're just going to make it a whole single one-part video instead, because me personally, I want to try to make this video as easy for people to watch and the ways I would like to watch them. I personally hate watching part one videos, part two, having to watch four or five different parts of a video just to get to the point to what I'm trying to figure out. So I actually took that video down, and we're going to go ahead and make it a whole one-part video on the Pioneer tabs relocate. So, and sorry, I'm kind of dressed like an Oompa Loompa right now. It's like 37 degrees here in South Louisiana this morning, so I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's time to be cold. It's like negative 400 degrees here. Yeah, but with the humidity here, it's pretty bad. So with that being said, anyhow, today, like I just mentioned, we are going to be moving the A-arm tabs forward on the Pioneer. Now, it's currently like 8:30 a.m. here. And we're actually not going to be welding these till about probably 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. I got a buddy coming over. He's going to help me weld all the tabs on and stuff like that. I mean, I can weld myself, but I promise you one thing. It's going to hold, but it's not going to be pretty at all. So I want to try to get these looking as pretty as possible. So I actually got a buddy that's going to be coming over this evening to help me weld and make all the welds and all that stuff. But as of now, I just want to kind of go over all the dimensions and all that stuff and the whole purpose of the forward rake A-arms and, you know, the routine you got to take, and I got to start prepping the frame to weld them. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I think first off, I'm going to explain. I'm just going to kind of give y'all the rundown of it. If you want to see if you want all the measurements and stuff like that, you can go ahead and skip a little bit further forward in this video to where we get into the measurements, into the detail on all the measurements. I'll try to drop the estimated time right down here about when I actually start talking about the measurements. Then at the end of the video, the very end, I'm going to drop all the pictures of each individual tab. So if you want to go take a screenshot of them and all that stuff, and I'll drop the screenshots of the process of the video. So you can go ahead and skip to the end of the video if you want all the pictures for the forward tabs and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah. So first things first, the forward rake A-arms. Now, it's not really a forward rake A-arm. It's just a tab mod. So I know a lot of people probably know this. The P500s, you could do the whole move the A-arm tabs forward, and it gives you what, 2 inches to inch and a half, 2 more inches of clearance. It's really not too much. It's a big pain in the butt process just to get a little more clearance. But if you know anything about the P5s, you got to do whatever you can to get clearance. So let me go ahead and get down here. I'm going to show y'all. I actually got one side bolted up just to kind of get the feel for it and all that stuff. We spent the whole week pulling the measurements and all that stuff. So we took a mic'd everything, put all the measurements. And between me as a millwright, working at a machine shop in a plant, and my old lady's dad, he's actually a machinist at a machine shop, and he has a water jet. So between the two of us, we got these coming out pretty good. They're pretty clean, cut out clean. Water jet cut them all out. They're clean. The measurement, daggum, hands are frozen. The measurements are pretty precise. They're on pretty good and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and drag a rag over here. I'm going to get on there and show y'all all the good stuff. So let's get into that. Now, first things first, to do the tab mod. This is the way I did it personally. I just go in and take all my A-arms and axle, knuckles, and all off. Let me show you. I leave it all in one piece. So all I do is, here it is right here. I get in there. Oh, I'm about to lose all my washers right here. Just put them in a safe spot over here. But I leave them all together. I take the 4 A-arm bolts off. It's 4 14 mil bolts. Take them off. Excuse me again, that Red Bull getting to me. Take the 14 mils off, 4 14 mils for the A-arms. You got a 17 mil on your tie rod end. You got, I believe the 2 brake calipers are 17 mil. Brake caliper slides off, zip tied up here. Axle, you got your big castle nut, which I think is a 1 3/4 or 1 1/4, something like that nut. Take that off. You got your brake lines and all that stuff, your little shroud here. That's all 10 mils. And I just leave the 2 ball joints together. Once you get the A-arms unbolted, get the axle unbolted, you can grab that, just pop it right off. Axle slides out, kind of give the little axle a spin and twist, and bam, she slides right out too. So it's just easier to leave it all together, because that way, when you do get all your tabs, you want to go ahead and do your bolt up and draw them all out. It's so much easier just to bolt them 4 bolts back on, like we did over here, to do your bolt up so you can get the feel for them, take all your measurements, draw them all out, and get the buff in your frame and everything. But the purpose of the 4 tab, like I said, it's going to give you about roughly 2 more inches of clearance. If you notice on the Pioneers, your A-arms are kicking right up here in your brackets here, correct? You have about 2 inches of frame gap right here still. I think it's actually exactly 2 inches. I measured it the other day. And down here, you still have that, 2 inches up here that you can move forward. Why Honda did that specifically, I don't really know. I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if they just take your tube in here and kick straight down instead of that little kicker coming in, and bring both your tabs forward for more clearance. Now, I'm sure somebody that has a fancy name on a piece of paper that's called an engineer or something like that, designed in some specific kind of way, but me personally, don't agree with it. Now, I do see some people taking the diffs out to do it. I personally didn't do that. That's just so much more of a hassle than you need to make it. We're going to go in there, throw a fire blanket and stuff over that to cover it all up. But the bolt up side, all we did here was put all our tabs on and went ahead and bolted up, upper and lower. It's not welded yet. We just did a bolt up, drew out all the lines around them, stuff like that, where we're gonna have to buff at. So we're gonna have to get the air sander out and go ahead and knock all that paint off and get them ready to weld on. And then we're gonna put it back on and actually weld it on like this. So that's pretty much, the justice of that. So let's go ahead, jump into the measurements. I will try to explain the measurements the best I can and the best way for y'all to understand this. Okay, the measurements on these. Looking at this right off the back, that is your bottom outer, bottom inner, upper outer, upper inner. And that's kind of what they look like. If you want to screenshot that, go ahead. Like I said, I will be posting pictures of these at the end of the video. So if you want to skip that and screenshot it and whatnot. But as far as measurements go, we'll go ahead and go over this individually. If you don't want to go over all the measurements, you can go ahead and just skip this part a little. But your upper inner, that is just 3 3/4 length by 2 3/4 wide. Your gap here, that's a 1.260 thousandths. Now this, all that is your radius of this. So, half a circle. That's your tubing. That actually goes around right here. And if you cut the radius, bam, straight in half, that's what you get over here. It's just a half piece like that. For the A-arm holes, these are 455 thousandths. The new ones, I think it was these. Yeah, these, we just did 400 thousandths. It's actually roughly about 398 thousandths, but I drilled these a little too big. I brought them to work. The A-arm bolts didn't fit. I forgot to bring the A-arm bolt with me to work. So I just went ahead and hit them, machined them out to a 455. When theoretically, I should have just left them at a 400 thousandths. So there's a little play in there, but it's not too bad. So it really ain't terrible. Center off your holes too. That's all measurements for center. 1 3/8, 1 3/8. And then from the bottom of your radius to 5/16, 7/16. For the upper tubing, your tubing is exactly 1.260 thousandths in width. So that's your tubing circle there. You got 4 1/8 length by 2 1/8 width, 455 thousandths. Like I said, should have left that about probably 400 thousandths. Your offset on your circle, if you come from the center of your tubing hole, you're exactly 2 inches down, and then you're going to be a 3/8 kicker off. So that's that. And pretty much what I did was I would pull a measurement off one side. So I pull the measurements on this side and cut out 2 of the exact ones. Because, once you take that side, all you gotta do is flip it around. So, I mean, if this is right there, it's the exact same hole offset and everything. Come over here, all you gotta do is flip it over, and bam, you're good for that side. So just make 2 of each whenever you do that. Your lowers, lower outer. See, that's where I did the 400 thousandths hole out right there. 1/2 inch wide by 1 5/8 length. You got your little inch gap here you cut for the tubing. 2 1/8 width and 3 1/2 width, or length width. You get the point. But the reason I cut the little sliding right here and did it like that, I know a lot of people don't really do that. What you'll see a lot of times, and mostly every time, is people will actually just cut these tabs, your bumper frame tabs right here, straight off, you know, and weld them flat. I didn't want to do that. I still want to have my bumper for a winch and all that stuff. So we went and cut that slot, and you got to have it kind of bigger right here to fit over your nut, that's your bolt nut. So that was the measurements I got for that. Slides over, push it this way. We'll tack all up in here, all back here, right here. Or probably gonna want to throw in a little frame support coming across right here. Get a piece of flat bar, about, I don't know, probably 3/16 or something. Flat bar coming across, same width as the steel plates, and just a little more frame support. So I might go ahead and do that with all of them, actually. Don't really know yet. Your other tubing right here, that's it back up there. That's your lower back. So, ow, that is 1.5 by 1.5, half square there. That fits directly over your tubing. I believe your tubing is, I think it's actually 1.5 tubing, huh? Yeah, 1.5 tubing. So 1.5 is 7/8 stick down here, 3 7/8 width, 400 thousandths hole. Like I said, roughly about 398 thousandths. But that is that for the majority of it. Once again, like I said, guys, I will be posting pictures in the very end of the video. If you want to skip it, take screenshots of that, and just take screenshots of all the process we did here. But another thing is too, I know I see a lot of guys, they actually make another shock mount coming out here, there. I actually looked at one the other day, and I didn't see that shock mount. He had it bolted up to a stock shock mount still. So we might give that a try for a little while and see how it goes. Might blow the shock, might bend it, might not end good, but you know, if something breaks, we'll just go ahead and fix that from the get-go. But as of now, we're going to try to run the stock shocks and go with that. Your stock axles do work with this still. So don't be watching this video thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to go buy them axles. No. Theoretically, your axles are actually straight once you do this mod. Now, most of the time, you got that offset kick to them, and they're going to be straight after you do the 4 tabs. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing exactly, or might be a reason they're kicked off, but we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, that's most of the process. Leave them all bolted, take it off, bolt up. As of now, what we have to do is we have to go ahead and buff all the paint off here. Just prep it off for the welds and stuff like that. So we're going to get the air sander. I'll go ahead and do that. In case y'all ain't forgot, or if y'all don't follow me on Instagram and YouTube, your boy still got the hardest Pioneer headlights in the game. I had the hardest 420 headlights in the game too. So, and don't even bother commenting and asking, my guy, how'd you build them, okay? I probably get like 600 questions every time I post a picture video. How'd you build your headlights? Dude, go ahead and figure it out, man. Don't be trying to meet rod everybody else. Do it how you want, do it how you like it, and make it your own, buddy. But I'm going to go ahead and prep all this up. And actually, I go back down to Marpole today. I traded the Outlaw 2s for some 28 BKTs. Just something simple for now, but I like the way the Outlaws rode, so we're going to give the BKTs a shot until I can get my 35s, maybe 37s, I don't know. We're going to figure it out, though. Hopefully get portals and all that stuff soon, too. But we actually had a couple packages come in today for the little P5. Something a little special, nothing too serious, but we'll make a video on that once the rest of them come in. And I have another big change I want to make that I'm probably going to order soon, too. Just depends. Everything's so backed up with ordering and shipping right now on back order. So we'll see how it goes. Depends on weight I can get in and whatnot. But, yeah. So what we will do, too, is I'll bolt up the other side. And I'm going to pull measurements real quick. So we'll go from hub to frame and on the stock side from hub to frame. So I'm going to make y'all watch the whole thing. Let's go ahead and skip into that. I'll bolt up and we'll skip straight into taking the measurements there. So I don't really have anybody here to help me pull the measurements. So we just kind of rig some up to try to give y'all a perspective of what it is. But I just set the jack stand up center of the hub, hooked on the back side. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be close enough to just kind of give y'all the perspective on it. But from center rear hub to the center front hub. This is stock side. That's stock bolt up. We are right at 74 inches. If the dang thing will focus. 74 inches there from center to center. So let's go and get on the other side, pull the other side, and see what our measurements are there now. Now, from, once again, hub to hub, this is the bolt up side with the tabs. Not welded yet, just bolt up, so it's gonna be a rough estimate. We are at about 75 3/4 from center hub to center hub. So what was the other side I said? 73. So 73, 75 3/4. That's kind of your rough estimate on now. Once we get it all once we get it welded up and get all the new tires and stuff on, we'll pull more measurements and give y'all a little better estimate of what it is. But for now, that's pretty much where we are at with that. Okay, we broke out the 16,000 RPM sand belt dyno file. It's a bad little dude there. But we're gonna go ahead, hit all these frame spots, sand all these down, and get them prepped to weld. And I will jump right back on as soon as I get these sanded down, so you don't have to watch me sand this down for the next hour and a half. Let's do it. And we are almost at go-go, boys. As you can see, it's getting even time. It's about 4:30, 5 o'clock right now. I actually went ahead and went to Marpaw, made the 3.5 hour drive round trip, pick up the BKTs. So, as I mentioned, I traded the Outlaw 2s for these 28 on 14 MSA BKTs. Just something, I didn't really like the Outlaw, so I went ahead and traded my buddy. Something to roll me around for now until I get my bigger setup. But we have the front arms all bolted up. Tabs are not welded yet, but they are all bolted up and good to go. And so far, it is looking good. So my buddy's actually on his way right now. We're gonna go ahead, weld all the tabs on, throw the tires, everything back on, bolt everything back up, get her setting down back level and whatnot. And I'll probably jump back on tomorrow sometime if it's not raining too bad and give y'all the complete walk around, because it's gonna be too dark to do it tonight. So with that being said, let's go ahead, jump into it, and get the welding, baby. Well, boys, it is currently the next day. The P5 is back together on all fours, and she is looking good. I didn't go ahead and video it, finished it off last night and all that. Got as much welding as I could. There really wasn't much other than I can do is stay back and record the welding. And other than that, it was just, once we got all welded on, it was just about tightening everything back up, putting the shocks on the axles back in. But it came out fairly decent. Now, yes, I haven't buffed or anything yet. As soon as I finish making this video, I'm actually going to go back and buff all the welds. I got some spray paint. I'm going to go ahead and mask it all off, spray paint it up, and clean it up. But it actually came out really good. I am very pleased with it. It's hard to tell, but you definitely have a lot more clearance on the front now versus what you have compared to stock. Only thing we had to mod up was the bumper. We still we tried to make it, like I said, to where we can still put the bumper on, which it does fit on. But down here, it's hard to see. The holes didn't quite line up, and we actually had to take this corner off the bumper for it to sit up in there and get the bottom bolts on. But we're going to probably either re-drill a hole or just put a washer or something on there to hold it in place. Probably going to wind up re-drilling it. But for the most part, it came out really clean. I'm in love with it. Have a lot of clearance with the 28s on. Only other thing we have to do now is go ahead and do the inner frame on to where we cut it right here and weld a plate on that, so we're not grabbing that on a full lock, which with the 28s we're not. But once we go 33s, 35, 37, you will most definitely be grabbing that. But yeah, for the most part, that's what it is, welded up. I mean, front tabs, I showed y'all everything already without being welded, so this is the same thing I showed y'all before it was welded, just welded now. But only things I gotta do is I am going to go ahead and do my alignment. I got to adjust the tie rods just a hair. It's not bad, but I need to adjust them a little. And I gotta go ahead and I'm probably gonna flush the front diff and put new oil and stuff in it, because we lost a lot of oil whenever the axles came out and whatnot. But yeah, so we're actually gonna go ahead, get heading back. Just show you all that real quick. The back one's on it. Welds came out pretty decent for welding at flux core. It's just flux core weld, and we didn't have any gas or anything either, so it's kind of splattered. It wasn't as smooth as we wanted, but welds definitely came out hella good. My boy Chad, he did a slam up job on getting this thrown together last night. In love with it. So we're gonna go ahead and get back and buff all that and paint it all up and whatnot. As always, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope this video helped out a lot. I tried to do it the best I could and walk y'all through and whatnot. It's really not a complicated process at all. Most complicated part is just cutting out your tabs to get the measurements and all that stuff. But I hope this helped out. If you would, just please like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, man, if you have any questions. Ask away. Comment what y'all want to see more of with the P5. Just go ahead and let me know what you think of the video overall, and just drop some comments on what y'all want to see. So as always, I love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. I'll keep the videos coming as long as y'all stay watching. So have a great day, guys.